smart recorder here. So after today, when you go home and are able to go back to the class website that you'll find out about, then you'll be able to go back and see this class. You'll see what's on the screen. So, and hear yourself. So when you ask a question, you can hear yourself. So I encourage you to ask questions. So you can go back and instead of, you're not always thinking about what's going on in class, thinking about like lunch or dinner, what's going on. So you can always go back. That's an important thing. For the on-campus classes, they're all like this too. They're all recorded, right, Char? You ever go back to those at all?
Yeah.
Were they helpful?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So it's just another model of how you would use technology so that you give people a chance not only to learn something once, but go back and revisit it again. Okay. Question or comment? I have one question to continue. And I can wait. Charlotte will tell you I can wait.
When I went on the website, the bookstore website, there's no text to purchase?
Correct. Correct. They'll never, I won't say never, there are only a couple of texts in the course to purchase because most of the stuff you can get online or whatever, and so I hate to see you guys spend money on that. I'd rather see you spend your money on paying bills, like I said, or doing something like making more money and, again, supporting me, Social Security. It's your main job is to get a raise. Okay. Okay, now what's going to happen today is that I'm going to run through the syllabus and then we're going to do some activities. And then we're going to meet online Thursday. So Thursday night at 7 o'clock, sit on the couch, if you have a portable. If not, sometimes people can, you can call in using an iPad or an iPhone too. So, yeah, you had a question.
I just had a question about when we'd have to be logged on. Is it going to be at night or is it going to be during the day?
7 p.m.
Okay, all right, that's fine.
So that most people are working. So
Yeah.
at 7 p.m., what will happen is I will email you. Just this one time, I'm going to email you with the code and URL how to get in. And then we're going to practice that today. And I'll email that to you so that at 6 o'clock, maybe 6:15, something like that, I will send you an email and you'll know how to get on. Other than that, every time you'll be able to go to the class website. Hi. And you're?
Henrietta Simmons. Henrietta Simmons.
Hey, welcome.
Thank you.
And are you in the program, Henrietta?
No, you just emailed me that before. I took this because I need the EP.
Right. Okay. You got to remind me. I forget. I got to tell you, I forget. You got to forgive. Like your parents, they get parents forgetting, right? They forget stuff. Okay. So I will email you. You're going to email me today with some information I'm going to ask you to send to me, and then I'm going to send you back the code and also the syllabus. So you'll have the syllabus. Everything will be online. No handouts. Everything's online. And all your work that you turn in will be online as well. So, are you chewing gum or anything? No, there's no gum chewing or any food or anything. If you have drinks, always feel like you go out and get a drink. If you're hungry, go eat. Eat. Well, this is the only class will be on campus. So, Henrietta, have you been in the building before?
Years ago.
Okay, the bathroom's out over there, about halfway through, and there's also a water fountain there if you don't have water. It gets real dry in here. And actually, it's too warm. Usually I keep it much colder. Can I make it colder, or is it okay? Okay. Now, when you take a class with Dr. Abed, he's Mediterranean, so it'll be real hot. I'm more Alaska. I like it cooler, so you just have to get used to that. In the wintertime, it'll be like 30 degrees out. People come in here with the warm coats, and they'll keep them on because it's so cold. That's okay. You get used to it. Other questions that folks have? Okay, integrating technology. So I'm going to call up the syllabus. And again, this is being recorded, so you're going to be able to go back and see this if you have any questions. And I'll make it big enough to see, and I'll just go through this step by step. And as we go along, if there's any questions, just ask me. Zoom to fit. Ah, that's good. Can you see that?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so that's my email address, bondtobe@ccsu.edu. And so when you email me, that's the one to use. And when you email me today, you're going to actually email me before you leave class. So then I'll send you the syllabus right away. No office hours, but if you need to contact me, I'm always online. I teach at the University of Maryland University College also online. They have an ed tech grad program, and I teach there as well. So I'm always online for that class because it's totally, well, it's asynchronous, but we meet online on Wednesdays. But I'm always going back and forth there because it's much more, that's how the students are socialized. It's a online degree, so they're all used to being online and sending things back, so I respond to them a lot. So I'll be online. So if you email me, you'll hear back from me at least before 24 hours, and usually much more. I'm pretty good at responding. Okay, we're going to be using a program called Edmodo. How many people have used that before? Okay. Have you used it in the classroom or?
Just a little bit for like a presentation in one of my other courses.
Okay, how about you?
In the classroom with my students.
Okay, and could you tell the class about what it is and how you use it?
Well, I'm not an expert at it. We tried it out this year. The students liked it because it's set up to look almost like Facebook. And there are a lot of differences. There's no friending or walls or anything like that, but you can post comments, you can tag in somebody into a conversation you're having with a classmate. I use it to role play actually. When we did some literature,
Good, good.
I had the students take on a character. When we read Romeo and Juliet, I assigned characters, and the students pretended as though they were Romeo on Facebook or on Twitter or something. And so they would post comments as if they were a certain character. I can, as a teacher, I can view all their comments. All of their comments go right into my inbox. I can delete comments. I can redirect students through the website. I can post assignments. I can post video, links, just about anything, really. Folders.
Okay. And it's safe.
Yeah.
And it's verified as safe. And the reason I use that for this course is because I used to use it a couple of years ago, and it was okay, it was good, but then they started asking for money. It was paid, so I stopped using it. Now they don't ask for money now. As a teacher, you can get a free account with all the benefits. So I like using it because most of you are teaching. Who's not teaching? And you're working with teachers.
Well, I am a teacher also, but in addition, I am.
Okay. And you don't use Edmodo yet?
No, I don't.
Okay, well, so because you all are teaching, I want to use Edmodo as the model for the course, and you're going to make your own Edmodo site as well, so that you'll be able to think about using this in the classroom in the fall or spring, and you'll have the practice of being a student this summer, and also building maybe something for yourself for the fall or spring term. Does that make sense? That's the logic. You're always going to hear the logic of why we're doing this. And so it just seemed to be a really good opportunity for folks, especially because you're not in class now. So you can make lots of mistakes and not worry about kids kind of figuring out, trying to figure out. What grade do you teach?
8th grade.
Are you a Lions fan? Is that a Lions thing?
That's the one, yeah.
Oh, Detroit Lion fan?
Yeah.
Barry Sanders? Okay, good enough. So 8th grade?
Yes.
And what grade do you teach?
6 and 7.
6th and 7th. Okay, middle school. How about you?
I teach adults.
ABE.
Principal adult program.
Okay. This would be good too because it's something, at least you'll have this in your background as
Well, this is
a
something
tool.
that they're planning on doing, but they haven't instituted. So
Well, there you are.
I think it's
Henrietta.
great to be here.
And your first grade, you said?
I'm sorry?
What grade?
9 and 11.
Middle school, heavy middle school. Short, like 4th graders?
Elementary.
Elementary, yeah.
Music.
How about you?
Elementary, I'm 5th.
Okay, and
High school.
high school. Okay, so we got a good mix. And Edmodo was good for all the grades, K through 12. And also for training folks. So you're going to be training folks to use this. You're going to be having it in. So it's an up-to-date tool. Now, last year I was on sabbatical, stayed on my couch and stuff like that. But I also work with folks from Europe and South America. And what we do here in this program is top of the line, up to date. So you're not going to go anywhere in the country or in the world where they're going to be doing more creative instructional technology than you find here. So Basically, the kinds of stuff that Dr. Baird and I will bring in are always the kinds of things that you can use now or in the future. That's our goal, so that we believe that you're going to be educational technology leaders. We expect you to use everything that you learn in the classroom. Not only theory, but also how to do it. So you're going to have, hopefully at the end of the program, you have a wide and deep background in ed tech and know when to use which technology at its best. That makes sense. Okay, so Edmodo is the site, and it's designed to give you integrating experiences, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And readings, I'll post readings, blah, blah. When you get this, there's a nice Edmodo orientation they put out that shows you exactly what Edmodo does. So when you get this, check it out. And you're actually I want you to join Edmodo before Thursday. Just go on there, get an account, edmodo.com, register as a student. Then later on, in a week or two, you can register again as a teacher, because then you're going to start your own stuff. Does that make sense? So I want to give you a little bit of time to be a student, see what's going on, and then start your own. And there's all sorts of features to this. Some I haven't even seen yet, because I haven't used this in such a long time. So we're all going to learn stuff from each other. And as you discover something really neat, let everybody know. You know? They have this thing where you can give students badges, right? Did you ever give students badges?
I saw it, but I didn't get that far to give out badges.
You will this summer. You will. We'll get a badge for like being on time to class. We'll see. We'll find something. Okay, WebEx. Yeah, go ahead.
Do you have it set up so that we're supposed to join a certain class? Because I set up.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a class for this class,
okay.
And I'll give you the information on Thursday. So I just want you to, well, actually, yeah, sign up as a student, and but I'm not going to have you go to the class yet. So on Thursday we'll go to the class, the Edmodo class, and then like the next week you'll sign up. Within Thursday to next week you'll sign up for your teacher account. Okay. So as we do stuff online as a class, you can go and think about what you want to do for your project, which you'll be doing, and use Edmodo as kind of the place where you can put some stuff in. And if it really fits, you'll be training folks. You might want to gear what you're doing toward that particular purpose. You're high school, so what subject do you teach? Finance.
Personal finance.
Okay.
Law,
So you might, what you're going to be doing for the project is teaching a unit that has like 5 subsections. So you might want to do like finance in like budgeting or something, and have like, you know, how to figure a budget, so on and so forth, and have activities in there. Now everything that's on your Edmodo site, everything that you use for instruction, has got to be made by you. You'll have a place to put other stuff you find on YouTube and online, but this program is not linked to the nice website. This program is, you learn to develop instructional materials. That's what you do. And then you can find other resources that are good, and you can link to them and use them, but in the class, this is where you get the practice in actually making the materials. So I used to have the first year I came here, there was a student who told me the first day, like where Kathleen is sitting, she said, I don't draw. So what she did was she had other people like do her drawing for her, and she did a project for the 500 class. Then when the class was over, she said, she saw what people did, which was really nice. And she said, boy, I wish I would have drawn. Because, you know, if you can't do it, then that's what you should attack. You know, don't always do what your strength is. Do what you need to get better at. Because if you don't ever do that, you're never going to get better at what people will expect you to know. If that makes sense. And when I teach undergraduate classes, I always ask people to do projects in subjects that they hate or bad at, because they're never going to have another chance to really get the feedback and work on that. And when you get hired, they expect you to know math. Even if you hate math, you're getting paid to teach it. So you can't tell parents, I hate math, but I'm really good in English. You can't tell them that. So whatever you can't do here, whatever you discover you can't do, that's something to work on. And you'll be in the program, so you have like lots of time. Okay, you'll do this, do that, do this, do that. Assignments, again, anything that you use from outside in any way should be referenced so that it's not plagiarized. Now, The only reason I'm doing that is to get you aware. You can make your own materials. You can do stuff. You can use stuff from outside as long as you reference it. You know, as long as it says copyright must contact XYZ for permission. But other than that, just in some way, if you have a website, or if you're doing Smartboard, which you'll be doing later in the program, then at some place, just note where you got the resources. So you protect yourself and you provide a good example for the students. Yeah. Okay. You're going to each have a website. You're going to start the website today. And you're going to put your individual website work there. You're going to be doing podcasts. Anybody do podcasts before? Good. Well, you're the expert. And you folks, you're going to develop a tutorial using Microsoft Word, wikis, digital photography, online tools for making instructional materials, Google Docs, and so on. So we'll see. We'll get to a bunch of stuff, and each one of those, the assignments are going to be put on your own website. And then, yeah.
Do we already, like I have a website that I developed for my school. Can I add to that? Like, can I make a new page and throw everything on there?
Nope.
Wow.
No. The theory is this. Pick something new.
Yeah.
Anybody can do what they've already done. So I ask people to use Yola or Wix or Weebly. What do you use?
I use Google Sites.
Okay. Learn something else. Learn another one. Pick Yola, Wix. You'll see. You've used Wix before, right? How do you like it?
I like it better than Yola, but I was just telling you that I can't figure something out.
Oh, yeah. I'll show you.
So
I'll show you how to do it.
Because they changed it.
Yeah.
But initially, I think I like it better than Yola.
Yeah, I'll show you how to do that. Not a problem. So the idea is, if you know how to do something one way, find another way. And one day Google won't have that activity, or one day some people will want to try something different. So you always have to be prepared and never stop and say, well, I don't know how to do this. I don't ever want to hear that. Like, I can't do this, I don't want to do that. But not in this class. You got to figure out a way to do it. Look for help online, look for help from your neighbor, but get it done. Okay. Classwork, online participation, WebEx, which we'll do today. I'll show you how that works. Be there. If you can't be there, like something's happening in your life, it's like special, you can't be there, and just let me know, and we'll make some arrangement for that. And final project, you'll create or adapt an upcoming unit for your classroom that utilizes technology and media. So you're going to use what you learn here and some other stuff too, and develop that unit that I mentioned. This will have like 5 subsections, and you'll write a plan for it. Okay? And you can develop some of the media as well. If you actually do it during the term, then you get an extra 10 points. So the idea is you learn to do it, you develop it here, and then during the semester you can get 10 points. And get that brings you into the A area. The most you can get is a B+. At the end of the semester, if you're not teaching per se, then we always make accommodations. But if you are teaching, then the incentive to raise your grade is to do the project during the fall or spring. And usually about half or 3/4 of people do it. And I've got some examples. People have done really great jobs on that. And some people it took like a year. I just got some from last year, just a couple of weeks ago, that people had implemented in class. And I can change the grade. It's not a big deal. So the idea is, you're not doing it for me. Seriously, you're not doing it for me. You're doing it for yourself. And whatever your time is worth, this is where you get the bang for the buck. Special needs, if you have a disability, like you can't see well or hear well, we can always make arrangements for that. And hands-on. Let me stop and ask if one more question. Anyone? About anything that I discussed so far? I'm waiting for a question. About any, yeah.
That time, like the timing of the lesson plan. So you want us to, the 10 extra points, you want it by the end of this summer session?
Yeah, by the end of the summer session. But if you need more time, you can have more time.
Okay.
So in other words, if you need an extension, I have an arrangement where, say you can't finish by August 3rd. You got to do. You have to wait till the beginning of the year. Then you can get a grade, whatever your grade is, like usually a C or something, depending on what you've done. And then you can finish that, put it in, and just change the grade. Okay. So because it's summer, and you were talking about it's compressed, but still sometimes people need more time. So that's how we handle that. So you can get a grade that will count, and you'll be able to get if you're getting reimbursed. But at the same time, if you need more time, because not everybody can do everything in the time we set. Does that answer your question? Yeah. Okay. This is important. Typographic guidelines. Don't use all capitals in a sentence. Don't. It's harder to read. One space after a period, after punctuation mark. Okay? That's typesetting conventions, because the PC is not a typewriter. And on original typewriters, the reason why they had two spaces is because they didn't have proportional type. So they had to use two spaces because some letters, like W, is bigger than an I, so they had to use two spaces. But when you typeset, if you look at any book or journal, it's always one space. So we're trying to become more professional. You'll fail if you use an underline that's not a hyperlink. The only reason why you have underlining is because typewriters could italicize. Or they had quotes, but don't underline. Just bold is okay. Bold or italics, not both. So don't do that. You ever click on a link, you see an underline on a website, you click on it, nothing happens. What's going on? Because if you look at a book too, a professional book or journal, you're not going to see underlines. They'll bold it, or usually it's italicized. So I'm just calling your attention to that. There isn't a drawn line, so sometimes you might have a drawn line, which is different than underlining. If you're not sure how to do that, Microsoft Word has the option for a drawn line, but in general, don't use underlining. Don't use red for anything except highlighting. No red text. Why do I say that?
Looks like it's an error.
Okay, that's good. Any other reason? Sorry?
If you print in black and white, it's not going to show up red.
Okay, that's good too. Red's a stop sign. Red is the one color that gets all attention. In other words, if you have all colors, red is the one that stands out. That's why you have a stop sign, it's red. Originally, the stop signs I know were yellow, way back in the old days. But red is because it's the easiest to see from the longest distance. So red is the color that actually draws your attention. If you have a diagram and you have a lot of things in there, and if you kind of circle something in red, it stands out right away. Same thing with an arrow. So you reserve red for that purpose, for the instructional purpose of drawing people's attention to something. Something's especially important, you can put it in red. Other than that, if you use arrows, any kind of directions, use red. Other than that, don't put your regular text in red. Now sometimes you'll be on a website and that's the default. Okay, I got no problem with that. But in general, everything you do should have a purpose. So you should be able, I should ask you, why did you do this? And you say, well, I did this because it's easier to read from the back of the room, or this diagram is a better diagram for people in my audience. So that's an important one. You got to be careful with multicolored text. Don't do it. Just because you can do it doesn't mean you should do it. Just because you can't do anything doesn't mean you should do it. And so with your designing of materials and your designing of everything in the program, you want to use intent and purpose. You don't just want to throw it in because the computer can do it. You'll see all sorts of websites with black backgrounds and multicolored text. Don't do that. Because the whole purpose is communication. You want to communicate your idea from your idea to whoever is the recipient of that communication. Okay, just a couple others. Bold and italics for highlighting important words, not for full paragraphs. Now, sometimes if you have like a quote, you can use italics if it's like a long passage from a paper. But in general, italics and bold are special formats that you use just to highlight something. So if you have a category, you would highlight that. And yeah,
Just a question on that, only because I teach Spanish many times, if I have a Spanish word that I
different.
want it to stand out, I do put in italics, is that,
No, that's fine.
okay?
That's fine. Italics and bold is overkill. So if you use bold, fine. If you use italics, fine. You just don't want to. You want to use the appropriate thing so that whoever the audience is, they don't look at it and say, "Why did he do that? Why did she do that?" You know, if no one else does that and you do it, then they're going to say to themselves, "Well, wait a second, that's strange." So you don't want that to happen. Use apostrophes correctly. I find this, and even in my online class, people basically 1950s doesn't have an apostrophe. Doesn't. I mean, it's not possessive. If you want to use 50s, put the apostrophe there. Simple stuff, and it's not a big deal, but they're small little things. And as a teacher, you want to get all the little things right, because there's some kid in the back that's going to see that and do the same thing. So as much as you can, try and stick to the professional conventions as much as you can. So outside the class, you're going to do what you're going to do. But at least somewhere in your education, someone has shown you a different way to do it, and this is what I would encourage from my experience. But in the end, you make your own decisions. Spell checker, we all make mistakes, but try and use it as much as possible. Bold and italics together. Okay, got to have 2 questions now on anything, either this or anything else. Yeah.
What are some of the other pieces that people have used in the student-made products for the final product? Like what are smart notebook or?
Yeah, a smart notebook is one, but you're all going to learn to do audio. You're going to learn to do video, screen capturing. You're going to learn to make a website. You'll be using Edmodo. You'll be using, actually, there's several other kinds of programs. Animation, you're going to make like little animated cartoon kind of instructional things. You're going to have a choice of a lot of different things, and also stuff that you know already. So, what I really want you to do is push yourself. Make lots of mistakes. Lots of mistakes. If you don't make mistakes, then you're not going to be able to help your kids when they make the same mistakes. So it's good to make mistakes. And everything I've learned is from the mistake I've made, so that when someone else does it, I know what they're doing because I did it. And you probably experienced the same thing as a teacher. So I would hope, yeah.
Before the school year ended, we get an email that our district wants us only to use this one particular website for classroom websites.
Okay.
How would I be able to integrate that with what we're going to be doing here?
For parents.
Sorry?
For parents. Are you talking about Edmodo?
No, they.
For parents. In other words, you have your own outside website for parents or for your colleagues or to train folks, and that may not hold. What about the year after? It comes up and says you can do this if this and this and this. Right. So this is your skill development, and sometimes in your school district they'll say this is blocked and so on and so forth. Okay, do something else. If they don't have YouTube and you want a YouTube video, download the YouTube video if it's appropriate and use it on your own computer. Easy to do. And if there's anything that you want to learn to do with technology that you don't know how to, let me know and we can bring it into class in some way. And that's happened over and over again. People have said, I don't know how to do this. And so we'll carve out a special lesson to kind of show folks. So that's possible to do.
So
Yeah.
after I develop this Edmodo website,
Yeah.
I be the teacher, then I would be able to give my students access to this and
Yeah.
they could get my lesson.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds great.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I honestly don't know anything about this.
Well, you got to learn.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I'm just like overwhelmed. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the reason, like, this class will change every year because whatever's new, I didn't do this last year because we had to pay for it. Now I'm doing it. And come back next year, it'll be something different. I mean, it could be. Who knows what's going to happen. But as ed tech folks, you got to always stay aware of what's happening because it keeps you on the edge as a professional. That's what we like to see. Keep on the edge. Rubrics, you can look at the rubrics on your own, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Just rubrics. How many people use rubrics? Good. And use Rubistar to make your rubrics?
Sometimes.
Okay. It's Rubistar. I'll put that on the class link, but it's a great way to make. Anybody use Rubistar? Yeah. Okay. Tell them about it.
end up modifying them a lot. They give you a basic template for whatever lessons or assignments or tasks, projects, essays, whatever. Then you can put it into an Excel document, and then you can change it. I end up modifying a lot, but it gives you a good starting point.
It really, that's the thing. It gives you a nice template to start from.
Yeah.
See, you don't have to say, well, how do I differentiate between this and this and this? They already do it. They give you examples. And so it's called rubrastar4teachers.org.
It's a long URL, yeah.
Sorry?
It's a long URL.
Yeah, I'll put it up on the class links when I put up links, and you'll be able to go there. So for those of you who are, well, actually for the Edmodo site, you'll have activities and you want to evaluate the activities. So make a rubric. Use Rubrastar, just practice with it so that at least you know where it is. But sometimes people are going to ask you stuff, and you could say, I don't know, or you could say, well, I heard about this, or you could say, I don't know, but I'll find out. So the last two are the good things to say. I don't know, but I'll find out, or I heard about this, let me go check it out. But I don't know, and Charlotte will tell you that I always say, if people ask you stuff and there's trouble, and they say, what college did you go to and who your teacher was, if you can't do it, you tell them it was Dr. Abed. Okay? Right? It's Abed. And if they laud you and pat you on the back, respond. Okay, so this is what we're doing. Overview of the course assignments and integrating technology. Basics, okay. So websites, technology for evaluation, rubrics, making materials, making presentations, and I'll show you about that after. Let's go ahead and make a website now. And go ahead and start your machine. And how many people, you've used Wix? You want to use Wix or YOLO?
I don't know.
Okay.
Wix is.
Have you used Wix?
I use YOLO.
Yeah, good. So I had John do that, right?
Yeah,
You know
I use
that,
Wix.
yeah. If you've never used any, okay, then what do you think, YOLO?
No, I haven't been on the list in a while.
I thought YOLO was pretty easy.
Yeah. Yeah. Use if you haven't, if you've never used one before, go to YOLO.com. It's the easiest, and I'll demonstrate that. So now, those people who have used YOLO before, then you go ahead and Wix. Wix is kind of Flash-based, HTML5 based, and it's a little bit more advanced. And Kathleen, you might want to try that because you've already used YOLO. But I'm going to do YOLO.com. And YOLO, I've been using this for, I don't know, the last 6 or 7 years. It used to be called Synthesite. Now it's called YOLO. And what's nice about it is, Julio, if you want to teach people how to use this, you can do it tomorrow. You can have them have their websites up. So that I encourage you to work with your colleagues or people you're training and show them how to get online. And also, not only for school purposes, but for personal purposes. Because if you use stuff that is personally useful for you, then you're going to be more likely to continue using it. Rather than if I just ask you to do it and you never do it again, it's an exercise in frustration, really. I mean, you're wasting your time. So personal websites are good because you can put up information and you know how to do stuff. Okay, so I'm going to YOLO.com and create a professional website for free in minutes. So I am going to sign up. Now, are you guys up there already? Okay. So I'm going to go to my YOLO. Oh, somebody's in. Yeah, somebody's in, so log out.
We create more than one, like we already have a couple, we create more.
You can have up to 5. Up to 5 different ones, and on each one you can have lots of pages. Okay, so I'm going to go here. Somebody else was logged in. But I'm going to go here, and then I'm going to sign up. Now, you all see this is a smart board. I don't know, how many of you use this in the classroom? Okay, Julio, perfect, you use it also. Okay, so we've been using this for several years. We train people how to use this during the classes. So this is a smart board, and I can write on it, and it will record that as well. So just in case, if you've never used it, I can show you, you'll have a chance to
Amazing.
you're a pro.
Not a pro, but I love it.
You're good, okay. So again, we brought this in here, and actually the person who trains at New Britain was in our class learning how to do it. We've been using Smartboard for about 6 years, 7 years, and it's a good tool. Just a tool, but a good tool. Okay, so you're going to sign up, and to sign up, you're going to need to use an email address. So I'm going to call this just Dr. SSSS, because I got a whole bunch that I keep doing. And then for email, this is bad because I don't know what email I'm going to use. I know what I use. I don't think I've used this one before. And then password, just make it something you're not going to forget. So we're in the Bernard building, whatever's always, for these things, try and use like a password that you're always you can reconstruct if you forgot it. So you can use like your address, like Jones Street 1, Jones Street 2, whatever it is. So if any site's like this, so that you'd be able to recreate it. Okay, then create the account. Almost finished.
What kind of formatting or templates for Wix?
Wix, blank.
Oh, blank.
Yeah. Okay, so then I'm going to start with free. See that? Start with free over here. And I'll, as we're going along, just ask questions as we go along. Okay, now start with free. Don't ever pay for these things unless it's really useful. Now I'm going to introduce you to some stuff that is really useful that I pay for, like 15 bucks or something like that. But in general, you can get away with most free stuff. Now if you have any trouble with Wix, Charlotte can help you. And if you have any trouble with Yola, then Joe can help you. Okay, create a new site. Now what you want to do is create, this is new too. I would do other, because you just want a blank for now. Enter your business or your name. So put your first name. Am I going too fast? Just let me know. And then EDT 514. And when the class is over, you can get rid of this. The site lets you make 5 sites without any kind of hassle, and you can add many pages to it. So I've been using this for years. I've gotten other teachers to use it as well. And once I have it, I'm going to build. And when you're home, you can try other of these. So you can always get back on at home, get back online, make new sites. So you can try something else if it interests you. But for this one, we'll just do other. Site builder. Okay. Okay. So basically, they give you a banner, and they give you a this stuff. You can always change this up here. Sorry?
It's like a text box.
That's a text box. And then this is another text box here, and you can delete it. But if you look over here on the right side, there are the widgets. See the widgets? Now the widgets are where everything takes place, where you can do anything on the widgets. So you can actually create a text box on here. You can add a picture on here. You can have a gallery of pictures that will kind of go back and forth. There's a horizontal line, which is okay for some things. Custom panel. There's also the ability to do multimedia and so on. And at this point, just do the basic stuff. Multimedia allows you to Flash, Swift. Wow, they got a whole bunch of new stuff in here too, which is nice. Widget collections. And so you can check these out as you will. For today, I just want you to have your site, and then you can keep this picture, or actually on this space, I want you to put your picture. So what I'm going to do is delete this. You sure you want to delete that widget? Okay. Then I want you to take your own picture now using Photo Booth, which is on the bottom here. It says Photo Booth. And then some of you already know what's going on, can do different effects. Have you used this before?
No.
They have stuff like this for the PC also. So, but this comes with a Mac. But there's a special thing. So you can pick any of the effects if you want, like pop art. Actually, I want to be able to see your face. So you can use sepia, one of the things. And then when you're ready to take a picture, you just go to where that camera is in the middle, and you find a good picture and click 1, 2, whatever. Okay. Then it comes down here, and what you'll do is you take that and drag it to the desktop, like this. It says photo something something, right? Then when you finish with that, you have your photo up there. And I'll show you this again. You go back up here to where it says EDT 514, and you're going to drag in the picture. And notice when I drag it and see what happens? It comes in. Now watch. I drag the widget, and then I go down here into this column, and notice how that big blue line comes in? Then I drop it here, and it says, okay, load your picture. Upload new image. Upload the image, and I look here for the desktop. I can find it. Somewhere as desktop. Okay. Now, if it isn't there, mine's not showing up, so I might have to rename this. I'm just going to call this me, see if that works. Because it may not recognize that extension, so let me see if that works. Yeah, so in other words, when it says photo, you just have to click on the photo and rename it. On a Mac, the way you do that is you just click on the photo, and you see that where it says me, and if you click on it, then it's kind of like a blue highlight as opposed to being all blue. Then you can type over it. So it didn't recognize the extension from the photo. But once you do this, it will recognize the extension. Once that happens, then you can upload the picture. And you'll get something like I have here. Obviously better. Once you have that, it says here in this next text box, About Us Services, just change that and make it About Me. And just give me a paragraph about yourself. And you get rid of the services stuff. Just get rid of the rest. And just put something about yourself that relates to this class or educational technology. So for example, if you're teaching high school finance, hypothetically, you might want to put something in there like that. And so what's going to happen is you're going to use this site and make other pages. And one page will be for homework, another page will be for some other assignments, and so on. Any questions from folks so far?
I'm trying to look. I've made mine on Yola, but I'm trying to look at my Wix site and it's not popping up.
The Wix is not coming up?
Yeah. My old one is my EDT 598 from last year, but not my newest one.
Maybe someone else has already signed in, hasn't signed out. We'll check that. We're going to take a break in a couple of minutes. So, okay, basically, once you finish that, this is the last step. Please, all eyeballs here. Please, just watch here. Once you finish, click on Publish to the Web. Don't. Both eyes. Custom domain, no. Free YOLO subdomain, yes. So this will be like first name. Here they want you to pay. You're not going to pay. You're down here, you get free YOLO subdomain. So whatever the name of your site is, and you can make lots of different sites. It'll always be whatever you call it, .yolosite.com. So if you make another site for your class, it could be Julio's 4th grade, right? 4th grade? Ninth grade. .yolosite.com. So that's how it works. It's real simple to remember. Okay, and then it's available. So there's no other first name something. And then I click next. It's publishing the site to the web. And there it is. If I click on this, it'll publish. That's the address. Okay. Now the rest of the stuff down here you can change as well. I'll show you how to do that. And then this is what you're going to send me. You'll copy this, paste it in an email, and email it to me. Now if I want to go back and work on it, I just click off this, and I can go back to the site, and each one of these, I can just get rid of all these, or I can put in pictures that relate to the school. For this one, I will just delete this whole widget. And then history, I could put more stuff down here, but at this point, I'll just delete this too. So there's nothing else on here. Later on, I could put more, but then I'll save it and republish. Just publish to the web again, because every time you make changes, it's like a Word document. You have to save it again. Site's been published to the web, and you can actually check this out online. You can check this out on your iPad if you have an iPad, iPhone. That's all there is to it. So this is where all of your assignments are going to end up. And by the end of the course, you'll have a page, website, with more than one page that has the accumulated work you've done in this class. And always save everything you've ever done in this program. Because if you do something now, in 3 years, you might want to go back to that. Believe me, it happens over and over again, right?
I've gone back.
Which one?
Times.
The Flash?
I have nightmares about that class still. No, I went back to 598. I went back to another one too.
Okay, but if you have it, then you're able to go back to it, and I guarantee you do things that you say, gee whiz, I wish I would have done it. Plus, you'll see what other folks are doing, and if they have their stuff up, you can ask them. Say, Joe, can I have your something? Is Joe okay?
Yeah.
You say, Joe, can I borrow this picture that you did, this animation? And like sometimes people do incredible animation, just incredible work. So, email that to me, and then we're going to take a break. So it's 1:54 now. We'll come back at 5 after 2. So you can stop and send that to me later, or you can send it to me now and take a break. Actually, let's make it 10 after, so I'll give you 15 minutes if you want to go drink, go to the bathroom, or just relax. So, 10. So I'll give you 15 minutes.